You know, some stories of bravery are so extreme, they sound made up, right? Well, today we're going to dive into one of history's absolute greatest last stands, a battle fought against odds that were, well, they were basically impossible. This entire incredible story, it all kicks off with just one number: 21. That's it. Just let that number sink in for a second, because that number, it is the absolute heart of everything that's about to happen. And who were these 21? They were soldiers, Sikh soldiers from the 36th Sikh Regiment. And let me tell you, this was a unit famous for its guts, for its incredible discipline.
Okay, so you have 21 guys on one side, and on the other, an overwhelming force of, get this, at least 10,000 Pashtun tribesmen. It's not just an army, it's a tidal wave of warriors crashing down on this tiny, tiny garrison. So let's set the scene. The date is September 12th, 1897. We're in a super remote mountain pass, way out on the northwest frontier of what was then British India. And our 21 soldiers, they find themselves completely surrounded by this massive force of Orakzai and Afridi tribesmen who are dead set on overrunning their post.
And that right there is the setup for the Battle of Saragarhi. It's a story so remarkable, so incredible, that it's still inspiring people over 100 years later.
Okay, let's just break this down so you can really picture it. On one side, you've got the 36th Sikhs, just 21 soldiers led by a seriously experienced NCO, Havildar Ishar Singh. Think of him as their sergeant. And on the other side, a coalition of Afghan tribesmen. We're talking somewhere between 10 and 14,000 of them. The odds? I mean, you can't even call them long odds. They were basically non-existent.
So the obvious question is, why? Why were they even there? Faced with a force that big, why not just, retreat? Well, the answer has everything to do with why that tiny little outpost, Saragarhi, was so incredibly important.
See, Saragarhi wasn't some massive fortress. It was basically a glorified signaling post, just a tiny dot on the map. But, and this is the key, it was the absolute lifeline, the crucial communication link between two major British forts, Fort Lockhart and Fort Gulistan. The terrain was so rugged and hilly that these two big forts couldn't see each other. They were blind to one another. Saragarhi was their eyes and ears.
And how did they do it? With this cool piece of tech right here, the heliograph. It's basically a fancy mirror system for flashing sunlight in Morse code. You could think of it as the Victorian-era internet. And here's what's so amazing. This device is the only reason we know the blow-by-blow story of this battle. It was all being reported in real time.
All right, so that's the setup. Now let's get to the battle itself. And like I said, we have this crystal clear picture of what went down, all thanks to one guy, the signalman, Sepoy Gurmukh Singh. A sepoy is kind of like a private. And he's the one at the heliograph, sending out updates as everything happened.
It all kicks off around 9 a.m. The attack begins. Gurmukh Singh gets on the heliograph and signals Colonel Houghton at Fort Lockhart, "We're under siege." The reply comes flashing back, and it's just grim. The colonel can't send help. So right then and there, the 21 soldiers make a choice. They decide to fight to the last man. Their goal? Just to delay the enemy for as long as possible. And for hours, they do just that, fighting off wave after wave. But eventually, the sheer numbers are too much, and the attackers breach the outer wall.
I mean, can you just imagine that for a second? You're one of those 21 guys. You see thousands of fighters swarming your post, and then you get this message: cannot send immediate help. Wow. That's the moment you know. You are totally, completely on your own.
So, the wall is breached. And now, the fight turns into something else entirely. It's desperate. It's brutal. It's a hand-to-hand fight for survival.
And what we're looking at here is a glimpse of that chaos. The fighting was just incredibly fierce, absolute mayhem. The few defenders still standing got pushed back, forced into the tiny inner building of the post.
But even then, facing certain death, their leader, Havildar Ishar Singh, stays cool. He keeps that military discipline. He actually orders his last few men to fall back into the inner sanctuary, while he stays at the breach, fighting alone, just to buy them a few more seconds. What a hero. After he finally falls, the attackers storm that last building and, well, soon there's only one man left. And this is the last message ever sent from Saragarhi. It's from Sepoy Gurmukh Singh, the signalman, the guy who's been reporting this whole nightmare. His duty is done. He's reported everything. And now, he asks his commander for permission to pick up his rifle and fight.
And you know what? Permission was granted.
So what does he do? He carefully packs up his signaling equipment, picks up his rifle, and makes his last stand in the signaling shed. And the accounts say he took down dozens of attackers, all by himself. They just couldn't get to him. So they set the building on fire. And even as the flames consumed the building, he was heard shouting the Sikh battle cry to the very end. Bole sonehal, Sat Sri Akal.
And just like that, the battle was over. All 21 soldiers were gone. But their story? Oh, their story was just getting started.
So let's look at the final numbers here. For the British Indian Army, all 21 men, a 100% casualty rate. But look at the other side. They're estimated to have inflicted around 450 casualties on the attackers. And here's the most important part. They held them off for hours, just long enough for reinforcements to get to the main forts, which almost certainly prevented a much bigger disaster.
So no, their sacrifice was absolutely not in vain, and it was not forgotten. The British retook the post, you can see the ruins here, and almost immediately memorials started going up. These beautiful gurdwaras, Sikh temples, were built specifically to make sure their incredible bravery would be remembered forever.
And the story itself, it just spread like wildfire. Every single one of the 21 soldiers was posthumously awarded the Indian Order of Merit, which was the highest award for valor a soldier like them could get back then. To this day, the Sikh regiment marks September 12th as Saragarhi Day. The story is taught in schools in the Punjab. It's inspired books, documentaries, even the big 2019 Bollywood movie Keshari. Their legacy is absolutely alive and well.
And that really brings us to a final question, doesn't it? I mean, history is just full of battles. So what is it about a story like this one, a last stand against impossible odds, that just grabs hold of our imagination and refuses to let go? What makes a story of sacrifice and courage like this one truly immortal?